So the big update here is that in your Blockbench model, you can define where the floors are, where the door openings are. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Code with Me. This is a series to showcase some of the new features in the 4.0 release, and so that you can get a feel of what's coming up. So before I get started today, I would like to open up Blockbench first and show you what I have. This is just a SP1900 model, and I'm showing you Blockbench because there's been changes with how vehicles are loaded into the mod. So it used to be the case where the models built into the mod are all loaded in through this folder right here, these Java classes, and there's no customization that can be done to these trains. But the big change right now is they're all going to be loaded through resource packs in the same format as all the custom resources are going to be loaded in. Which means there are going to be more parts that will be defined. For example, I have my window part here. This is all good and normal. And then I also have a new piece called the floor. And then I'll explain this in a second why this is so special. So I've added this extra cube called floor. If we just take a look at it, it's just a rectangle with no height. And as well as that, I have door. This is the doorway. Door left, door right. All that's normal. And we have the door floor. And we have the doorway as well. So the doorway and the door floor. You notice these cubes right here don't have any texture mapping. They're just kind of random. And the reason for that is the new resource pack loading method will support different types of cubes to determine different things. I know I'm not being very specific right now. So this is my model. This is going to be the properties file of the SP1900 train. We've got the different parts that are listed out. For example, the window part and the roof part and the handrail part are going to be rendered with these positions. So one change that 4.0 is going to have is that all the positions defined for each cube in the resource pack is going to be defined in a separate file so that it doesn't get cluttered. Especially if you have lots of position definitions that are copied and pasted throughout different cubes, this provides a way to consolidate it. Also, this window part is going to be rendered normally, but the window floor part, as I showed earlier, like these floor pieces, they're not going to be rendered and they're going to have the type floor. And then where's my doorway? Here's my doorway. The type is doorway. So as you can see, there are different parts that these cubes can have. And I think I have a part type enum, which contains all the possibilities so far. So normal will just render the model normally in the game. Display will be shown as like a scrolling display or like a destination display, same as the existing versions. Floor is the new type that we just saw. Doorway as well. And seat, I haven't implemented this in the code yet, so seat does nothing right now. But in the future, I want to make it so that you can define where your seats are and you can right click and sit on the train where the seats are. That would be really cool. So now I'm opening up Minecraft. There's some stuff that I need to work on, so this is just a quick demo because I also don't have very much time today to dive deeper into the code and to show what's going on. Oh wow, that's very laggy. Maybe I close out Blockbench for now. Okay, so right now I've only converted the SP1900 train into the resource pack format. The rest of the trains are still hard-coded into the mod, but they will eventually be migrated over. So here's my train. And as you can see, I've added a little debug feature where if you're holding the brush, Like right now I'm not holding the brush, but if I'm holding the brush, it's going to show me where all the floor positions are. Remember earlier in the Blockbench model, we've defined where the floor is using additional cubes in the model. So this is where those additional cubes are, and they're marked in white. Those are the floor pieces marked in white. And then the doorways are marked in red. When the doors open, the doorway shows up, meaning that that's a valid spot for you to board the train. And as you can see, when I intersect the cubes, when my player model walks over the cubes, they turn green. This is just also for debugging. And the car connection is blue. And because there's different pieces for the floor for the door part and the main window part, you can see that I can no longer walk through the seats because that's how I designed the floor to be. So the floor is made out of these separate cubes, as you saw in the Blockbench model. And I can just walk freely around, and I can also walk out the end of the car as well. Ooh. So the big update here is that in your Blockbench model, you can define where the floors are, where the door openings are. So having separate door openings mean that if there's no platform blocks detected next to a certain door opening, the door's not going to open. You see, the red box will disappear once I break the platform block because the doorway isn't detecting platform blocks nearby. So this also works like before, where if you have platform blocks on ground level, like 1 block away, it's still gonna detect. But otherwise, if I put the platform block too far, like too many blocks away, it's not gonna detect. And the doors aren't gonna open. So for resource pack authors, there's going to be some changes in the way 4.0 is going to treat the resource packs. I will provide some clear migration steps in the future. It'll probably be some easy way to migrate, like the code will automatically migrate it for you and you can just copy the new files. Probably something easy like that. But I will post more updates as those come. On top of that, for your custom models, you can define where your gangways are and whether players should be able to walk through them as well. So, yeah, this isn't complete, but it's a big step towards realism because, like, this door's open and this door doesn't need to open because there are no platform blocks here. And also, you can't walk through the seats. There's actual hitboxes on the train now. Next time I'm gonna show maybe like how bi-leveled trains might work if your floors in your Blockbench model have different heights. I've added a little like slope here just to see how these cubes will behave when the train is on a slope. And as you can see, everything lines up properly. When I walk over these, they turn green, meaning that the player is going to be intersecting those blocks right now. So, sorry this is going to be a short video this week, but I'm also really been busy lately, and this is as far as I can get by the weekend, and I do want to upload a video, but stay tuned for more. Let's see, what else can I show you all right now? So I'm inside the MTR custom resources file, and a lot of the stuff here is the same. We have a vehicle section. Instead of trains, I renamed this to vehicles. And then we've got my SP1900. I'm going to make separate train models for the middle cars and the end cars. That's why in Minecraft earlier, you saw they were all like middle cars with no heads, because that's all I've done so far. And then we have a list of models that you can add. So this is different from the existing versions where you can only specify one model and one texture. But in the new format, you can have as many of these model blocks as you want. So like If you want a base model with the existing Blockbench model, you can do that. And then you can add on an extra model on top of it. For example, if your train has custom advertisements, but you don't want to copy and paste the whole SP1900 model and just repaint a small little section, you can have a separate model resource and append it on top. And then we have sections for bogie models as well. So if you want to make your own custom bogie models, you can do that as well. And they also support multiple of them, just like the other model sections. And then you can define if the train has a gangway in front or after the certain car. Alright, and then in the vehicle properties file, we have all the parts as well. Render stage, just like normal, and then we have the type as well. I showed you the type earlier, which consists of normal, display, floor, doorway, and seat. So all that is just about the same as before. And then we also have a field for the Model Y offset. So this is to shift your model globally up and down. And then you can also define the different textures for the gangways as well as the barriers. I didn't define anything for the barriers because the SP1900 doesn't have train barriers, only has gangways. You can also define the gangway width and height, which you weren't able to do previously. For example, the MLR train has a narrower gangway. You can change that here for the width and height. Although if you try to couple two trains with different gangway widths, you're going to see weird things happening. But I don't have anything to show you right now because I haven't added like the MLR here yet. I know there's a file here called MLR, but this is just nothing right now. Alright, moving on to this new file called the position definitions. As I mentioned earlier, this is just to group a bunch of positions under a common name so that in your properties file for your model, you can just reference the position definition and inherit all these positions like that. It's just to make your properties file not so cluttered. So as you can see, I also created a properties file for my bogie as well. Because in my custom resources, MTR custom resources, I defined a bogie model using the bogie Blockbench model, and then also the resource for the bogie, which is this file right here. This looks the same, except that it's smaller. My position definitions, I'm using this file origin, or inside this file origin, we have the definition origin, which if you leave this blank, it just defaults to 0. So render the bogie at the center of where it's supposed to be. And then here are my Blockbench models. So it's not too many changes, although I guess there is a lot of changes. Some significant changes to allow for more customizability and also to define where your player can move within your train. So hopefully these updates are exciting. Stay tuned for more. Again, sorry this is a short video, but make sure to like and subscribe if you like it. And I will hopefully post another update soon. Maybe next week or in the middle of the week. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.